Hi, this is Chelsea Campbell, and I'm here to talk to you about Module 8. That was the legal aspects for EDL 851. Okay, so we were asked to read 4 articles and talk about what we learned from them. So the Teacher Evaluation Resource Guide for NEA. It basically just informs the teachers of the evaluation and the negotiation process for any district or state. And then the teacher evaluation and issue reviewed, that explains how the current method of teacher evaluation came about and its effectiveness. So it walks you through what it was when it started being a big deal, teacher evaluation, and then how it's come about and how it's now really focused on state assessments. Or not necessarily state assessments, but high state tests. Just for us, it's state assessments. Okay, teacher evaluation heads to the court. That was a whole bunch of relevant court cases about teachers battling the teacher evaluation system. And then teacher evaluations, measures, and systems. That researches the need for a more comprehensive teacher evaluation model. Okay, so in my district, USD 501. So what we do for the evaluation process, first the teacher meets with his supervisor and creates SMART goals. That's for the entire year, so not just for the lesson that they're going to observe. The SMART goals are for the entire year. Then the second thing, the teacher sends the supervisor some dates to come to the classroom to observe. Teacher meets with the supervisor after the observation and they discuss, and then supervisor sends the form with the scoring to follow the Charlotte Danielson model. And then teacher and supervisor signs the form saying that they agree, and then repeat steps 2 through 4. Okay, so if you disagree with the evaluation, okay, first thing that my administrator wanted to make sure that he stressed to me when I asked him these questions was that the first year teachers have little to no rights. So he basically said, if you have a first year teacher that you know is struggling and you don't want as a part of your staff, then you need to take the steps and document them to fire them at the end of their first year right away. Because after that, then they get a whole bunch of rights. And actually in my district, after 3 years, you have tenure. So you definitely want to make sure that you talk with them, get all the documentation done so that you can get them out after their first year. Okay, so then after their first year, if you disagree with an evaluation, first of all, you wouldn't sign the evaluation. If you feel like you're being treated unfairly by your supervisor, you would file a grievance through NEA, contact your NEA rep. Then a secondary outside supervisor, so somebody outside of the current school, would come to observe the teacher and see if the original supervisor's finding was valid. If not, then the grievance, so if the findings were not valid, then the grievance gets accepted. If they were valid, then the grievance is denied. A teacher can be put on an improvement plan. So if they have a poor observation, poor review, then they're put on an improvement plan. They have 6 months to accomplish the goal of said improvement plan. During the improvement plan, you need to be documenting the results. And then if you want to fire this person or want to have them moved or something like that, you need all of the documentation over that 6-month improvement plan, and you need to present it to the board. At the board, the teacher's entitled to due process to tell their story, tell what they feel has happened, and then ultimately the board decides whether or not to fire. Okay, so a legal case about teacher evaluation, Robinson v. Stewart. So teachers argue that merit-based pay was unconstitutional, and the judge ruled in favor of the state, saying that merit-based pay was constitutional. Merit-based pay is something that I feel like I would really, really like. Like, I work super, super hard at my job. And I feel like merit-based pay should go maybe not necessarily how you do on how your kids do actually on the assessment, but if your kids grow on the assessment. And I know it's really hard to measure necessarily growth, but I think that would be way better for teachers if you were measuring growth instead of necessarily how smart your kids are. I know, for example, at our school, there's one teacher who always kills everyone else on the state assessments. Now, he has all honors kids. And this teacher has been put on multiple improvement plans. We know that he is not that effective of a teacher. But since his state assessment scores are outrageous because he has all honors kids, he gets an award every single year. And it is a little frustrating to the rest of us. So I can see the issues with merit-based pay. I would hope that if Kansas ever went to a merit-based pay, that we would fight for something that was more towards growth, not necessarily how they do on a single assessment. Okay, so as a future school leader, I would make sure that I fully understand the negotiated agreement and have a copy of it on my desk ready to go if there is ever an issue. So when I asked my supervisor about what was about these questions and to make sure that I understood our full evaluation process, he had the negotiation agreement right there. He pulled out the booklet and we read it together. This is probably something that I shouldn't admit to, but I've never read the negotiated agreement, and he knew it, and he knew exactly what page to flip to. So tip for myself, always do that. Make sure that's ready to go. And then something I got from one of the fellow school superintendents is that you always want to make sure you keep HR in the loop of what's happening. And if you have, like if you're an assistant principal or you have somebody that's above you, you want to make sure that they are aware, and you got to make sure that they know before you take any kind of action. And then absolutely the most important thing is to document everything. You want to make sure that you have evidence to support your claims. And you need to be able to present that to the board, especially if you're going to fire somebody, or just to back your own self up. Hey, this is what I did on this date. Here's my documentation. Documentation is key for everything. Probably everything as an administrator, you need to make sure that you document somehow, some way. Yeah, so that is my presentation on the legal aspects of teacher evaluation. Thanks for watching.